what's up, guys? So this video is for students who are finishing high school and who are not sure which field to get into, and it's for adults who want to switch their current profession and get into tech. Okay, so if you're happy with your job, whatever it is that you do, I don't think this video is necessary for you to watch. So IT versus programming. And by the way, programming is same thing as coding, as software development. Like it has like four names, So coding, programming, software development, software engineering is pretty much the same thing. Okay. Are they the same or are they similar? That's the question. And if you never worked in tech, you probably think they are pretty much the same thing. It's they're similar type of job, and it doesn't really matter which one you take, in college or university, it's doesn't really make a big difference. But surprisingly, they are totally distinct jobs. Okay, so I really made this video so that you don't make the wrong decision, okay? Like I did. I think I honestly made the wrong decision by first getting into IT. And by the way, I worked in both fields, in IT and in software development. So I am qualified, um, you know, to give you advice, I think. All right. So, IT. Okay, well, what is IT? IT is information technology. That's what it stands for. And in IT, there are essentially three main areas, okay, three main jobs which you can get. They are help desk, desktop support, and pretty much everything else. And everything else is a really big, you know, number of jobs. Network administration, database administration, uh, managed services, a whole bunch of other stuff. So essentially, if you work in IT, you provide support. Okay, something breaks. Let's say you have Microsoft Word installed on your computer and it worked fine, and then it just doesn't work. Well, you need an IT guy to fix it. So uh, essentially, in IT, you play with software. You just pretty much play with it. You provide support. You install software. You delete it. Sometimes you physically install um, equipment, such as like a new laptop. You install it. You install a printer. You install drivers. Um, this type of thing. So working in IT is pretty boring. I think it's a pretty boring job, and a lot of people probably tell you, well, it's good money, and it is good money, but only if you get sort of higher up. Okay, for a beginning help desk position, you will not be making much money. All right, it's just a little bit above minimum wage, and that's where you will probably end up as soon as you finish college, unless you study really hard and sort of get into higher level IT. All right, so what is higher level IT? Higher level IT is these more advanced IT jobs which require you to have a license. Okay, so and that's another bad thing about IT. I mean, at least for me, I did not like it. You have to get these licenses. Okay, for instance, Windows Server licenses. You go, you pay like $200, $300 to write a test. Okay, and if you pass, you get this license, essentially. And sometimes you need more than one exam to get this license. And some of these licenses are really good. They will sort of get you a ticket, to move higher up. For instance, Cisco CCNA or other such licenses are really good, but it's really really boring and obnoxious. I mean, studying for a license, it sucks. You gotta get a big fat book, and read it page by page and memorize it, and it just sucks. And like a lot of people think IT is not as hard as software development, but studying for these licenses, it's definitely challenging. Okay, now what is software development? Well, software development is writing code to create or update software. That's pretty much it. And um, you code. Okay, you write lines of code, and then you execute them and see the result. Okay, so um, it is definitely intimidating and challenging at first, for sure. Software development it's not easy, and I mean it depends on which language you get started with, sort of which language you focus on. But it's pretty difficult at first. It's just really hard. But as a software developer, like for me personally, it is a creative type of job. Okay, it's really you gotta think and you gotta solve problems. So if you are someone who likes to sort of think outside the box, who likes logic, who likes sort of creating stuff, okay, software development is definitely for you. All right, it's sometimes it's really really painful, this job, but essentially, I personally think it's a much better job. Okay, and like I said, I worked in both fields as an IT guy and as a software developer, and I quit IT to switch to software development, and I never regretted it. Okay, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. All right, so now the question of money. Okay, who makes more? On average, okay, that's not like always the case, but on average, software developers make much more than IT guys do. All right, so money wise, development is better. Now, what about kind of future prospects? Okay, like if you're just finishing high school, you probably you think about the long term. What about 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, 15 years in the future? Will there be jobs? Uh, and it's hard to kind of predict the future, but I think IT is kind of slowly going down. Okay, like there is so much sort of virtualization, which takes a lot of these IT jobs, out. Okay, like for instance, server administration. Like we always, kind of used to have these, physical servers, but now a lot of this stuff is in the cloud. Okay, and you just don't need like a guide to install a physical server. Like that's not always the case. Things like network administration, managed services, like just I think a lot of it is just kind of gets automated, and I mean, still it's a lot of jobs, but it's not as good as it used to be, I think. But for software development, absolutely, it's just so many jobs, and it as far as the future, software development seems to me, a much better option, okay, for a career. Um, what else? Which job is more fun? Okay, well, software development is definitely more fun because when something works, okay, when you write some code and it works, I mean, you just feel incredible. But in IT, I mean, if you fix a problem, whatever, I mean, it just you don't get the same type of satisfaction. Okay, um, as far as taking BS from people, okay, this is something kind of people don't like to discuss openly, but in IT you deal with sort of rude customers much more. You're not respected as much. Okay, it is what it is. Like when I worked in IT, like a few times I had to really kind of I felt like I was sort of really disrespected. I mean, of course, you should never ever take anything kind of in a personal way, but just you feel it. Like if you're just not as you're not valued as much in IT as you are as a software developer. Yeah, so that's pretty much my 2 cents. And if you're not sure, if you really consider, between IT and software development, uh, if you just want my advice, I'm just gonna tell you get into software development. That's pretty much it. Yeah.